Okay, I guess we're going to get started for the next session. I'm June Claiborne, and I'm a part of the Colette team. We help you with Blackboard with all your needs, and we're a friendly bunch. So anytime you have any questions, any problems, you need help with anything, feel free to call us, email us. You can visit us because we're up on the 5th floor in the library in a little area that's completely enclosed, so we feel like we're in prison, so we like to have visitors. So we, feel like we're still a part of TSU and not, in prison waiting to be let out somewhere. But anyway, I'm here to talk about Blackboard and some of the things you're going to do in your course. And as you know, the easiest way to get to Blackboard is from the TSU website, going up to Quick Links, and then to Blackboard Login. And one thing about this page that's interesting is a lot of people will come here and right away they're logging in, trying to get into their course. But a lot of times we have information here that might be of interest to you that has to do with something in Blackboard or about your students. Our phone number is here, email address, location, and then our hours of operation. If you need to get in touch with us over the weekend, we have hours until 4, I think, p.m. And there's always someone that you can talk to. Now, if you look down here, there's also faculty resources. So a lot of the questions that you may have, there's how-to information in there. There's videos that I've put together that might help as far as walking you through some of the questions that you may have. So, you can always go here and find information. Also, in your handout, I have some information some things that we'll touch on today. But there's also a resource page booklet that talks about a lot of the areas in Blackboard that you would probably be working with in your courses. So there's also a faculty workshop catalog of information that you can always look at, and then there's development seminars. About anything. So these are some of the areas, some of the tools that we have also. There's also a section for students. So, feel free to browse through this. So now, to log into Blackboard, you make sure you're logging in with your last name, your first name initial, plus the last 4 digits of your T number, okay? For the password, the default is your 6-digit birth date, the month, day, and year. You can always change that if you want once you're in Blackboard, but as a default, that's what it usually is. Now, I'm going to log in as an instructor, and mine is a little different, so just bear with me. Okay, so once you log in, the courses that you are teaching will show up on this page. Hopefully you can see this pretty good. But as you'll notice, some of the courses say 11 spring or 12. Uh-oh, I clicked on the wrong course. But anyway, this will give you a list of all the courses that you have taught or are teaching, and for this semester it would say 12 fall. So I'm going to a master course that I kind of copied from the one that you all are more than likely going to be using, called Temp Master Course. And this course is similar to what your master course is going to look like. Now, one thing that's important to remember, and what people have done in the past, is they have copied stuff from the master course into their course, okay? It's really important not to use that copy command because there are some problems that will occur with that. Plus, when you copy, you're just taking the contents of one course to your new course, but then that leaves you with nothing of your own, okay? So then when you want to copy another course, or next semester you want to copy the same contents, you have to go back and do the same process again. What happens with Blackboard after 2 years, that course is still listed, but your name is not associated with that course. So when you go back and try to find it, it doesn't show up for you. So the contents that you had, you don't have access to that right now. So what you have to do is call us, then we have to call Blackboard, because what they've done is disabled your name out of that course. So we have to call Blackboard, have them enable you again so that you have access to it. In the meantime, you're wasting all this time waiting and stressed because you've got stuff to put in there. The best thing to do is to export your course, okay? Export the contents so that you have your own copy of the course contents at your disposal at all times, okay? Exporting just gives you your own personal copy. You're still copying the course, but you're copying a personal copy of it to your computer or an external drive or something, okay? That way you have your access all the time.
When you access that kind of course, what kind of where they, what kind of form you can get? Do you still have all these buttons?
You will have everything that's there, and I'm going to walk you through how to do that real quickly. And another thing with the copy is that what has happened, I think Arbelina talked about earlier, that there were several copies of that. Some people may mistakenly think they're copying to a new course, but they're actually copying within the master course. So then you end up with several duplicates in the same course of the same information. So it gets confusing, okay? So to keep from having those mistakes, you want to just have your own personal copy. Okay, so once you're in the master course, what you want to do is go to Packages and Utilities. And in Packages and Utilities, there's something called Export Archive Course. Okay, export just means that you're taking the course and you're making a copy to make a file for yourself, okay? So when you export the course, and as you can see here, I have one that's already done, but you're going to click on the Export tab, and then you're going to go down and select the things out of that course that you want. Okay, you can select everything if you want, and then it's going to generate a zip file that's compressed, that's easy to save, for your computer or external device or whatever, okay? But this way you have your own personal copy of everything that you've done or want to do, whatever. So you're just going to check the areas, like you probably want everything in the content area. That's the, syllabus contents and all those things. Any announcements that you have done. Some professors do a lot of blogging in their courses, so they may want to have that information available. If you've done any discussions, contacts are your faculty information, so that would be important. That way you don't have to for every course that you have continuously put that information in every year. You have it right there that you can just copy it. If you have the grade center that you want to keep, if you've got it set up a certain way, you can choose that. Any of these areas, if there's tests that you've done, you want to make sure that you select the test area. Then once that's done, you would just hit the submit button. Already at the bottom. Okay, and it'll tell you, okay, this process is going to generate for you, and it'll send an email, saying that it has been completed. What'll happen, and it usually takes a few minutes, depending on how many materials are in the course. If there's just a few things that you have, then a matter of 5 minutes, it has been processed. So I usually don't wait for the email. I'll just go back into the export area, and then you should see a file like this one. It's a zip file. It should say the name of the course. Since I created this as a temp English course, that's what shows up. But it will show up as as the name of the course. If you click on it, then you're going to save it to your computer or some other device. Now, what I would suggest is creating a folder, like maybe an export folder. So that way all of your exported files are in one place and it's easier to find, okay? So this is all you're going to do for the exporting. So then once you have exported and saved your file, you can now go to your new course and you're going to import that file name that you just created, okay? So now pretend I'm in the new course. And I'm going back again to Packages and Utilities. And I'm going to import a package. Now, if you notice, there's two. There's an import course cartridge and an import package. The import course cartridge is what you get from your publisher. If they've got a course cartridge that you're using or something. So we're not going to use that because you need the access code for that. But we're going to import the package. And since I already have one here, that's why it shows up. But you're going to go to the tab that says Import Package and click. And then in there, let me see. This is where you're going to browse for that file that you saved. Okay, so then I would look, go to my folder, my export folder, and then pull out the file name, and then just click on Open. So that would appear right in this box, and then you're going to select the materials that you want out of that exported file. Okay, your personal file, we'll just say it that way. So if I want to put in the announcements, I want all the content area in there. I want to have the grade book in here, and I want all the tests. If those are the only things I want, those are the things I'm going to select, and then I'm going to hit the Submit button. Okay, so again, when you click Submit, it's going to process and have the green strip that says, this is processing and I'll send you an email. Here again, a lot of times I don't wait for the email because I'm in a hurry. So I will just refresh this page by clicking on the refresh button. And then you'll start to see the contents populate in the course. Okay. A lot of times it'll populate with duplicate course menu items here. And if you'll notice the ones that have a box in it, if you'll click on it, you can delete that particular item right here by going to delete.
The box means it's empty.
Yeah, this box lets you know that this is an empty page, so there's nothing in it. Okay, so that's all there is to doing the export and the import command. I have those instructions in your handout, so you should be able to follow them step by step. If you still have problems, just feel free to let me know, and I'll walk you through it.
Is this correct? The export files only can open by Blackboard?
Well, no, technically yes, but if you have the zip, what is it, like WinZip or something, then you can open it yourself just by going to your computer.
What kind of program? What kind of
Let's see,
program?
WinZip or, any of the zip software tools that's on the internet. Just go to, type in WinZip for a search, and then it'll pull that up. I think it's like a 30-day free software that you can use. After that, it will tell you to, you need to pay. But it's like, I think it's under $30 or something like that.
If I choose to use WinZip programmer,
Mm-hmm.
to open the export file, what kind of format do I get? Is same as this Blackboard format?
Yeah, it will have each file that was in Blackboard will be listed, like if it's a doc file, it'll show as a doc file. It'll look the same as what you input into the course. But most of the time, you just want to keep it compressed, because if you open it using the WinZip, then it's going to uncompress or decompress all of your files, which means it's going to take up more space on your hard drive.
Yes.
You know.
I remember I exported one file, then I never opened it. I
Mm-hmm.
just say, then here you demonstrate it. That means I have to have one course available there. Then I can just import into my
New course, yes.
And you said that will be populate
Mm-hmm.
this new course.
Right, yes. So once you import it back into the new course, it's going to readjust just like it was in the course all along. It's
Yeah.
just dumping it into the new course, and then it's opening up all of your documents.
Yeah, but I export that course is many years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And right now we have a new, edition. It's 9.1.
Yes.
So do you think it's a?
It should, because it's still in a compressed form. It's still in the same type of zip file. So you should be able to use that new one. Yes.
Have you shown people how to make their courses available? We need
We,
reminders.
yes,
before
we will.
we-
I thought I would do that at the end, because they're working
see.
on the course, and
Okay.
then now that you have, and this is another thing, you want to make sure that you make your course available to your students after you have everything set the way you want, okay? And we get a lot of calls with that. Students come in, I can't get in my course. I enrolled, I know I paid and all this stuff, and as it turns out, the instructor has not made the course available. So make sure that you make the course available, and we'll go through that part. Okay, so now that's all there is to exporting and importing your file. Now you can archive a file, but then it gets into a lot of problems, because then we have to contact Blackboard to have them release that information to you. So anyway, that's all there is to exporting and importing.
When it comes to, like, okay, so say you have several worksheets or something for a course that you want to upload to Blackboard. That's like you go to course documents and then you just upload them.
Yes, if they're not in the old course, then once you have imported the new course and all that stuff, then yeah, you just manually put those in.
And when you say course, are you saying so for each particular course, like in English 131, there's like a course there's like a master course that everyone has access to,
Yeah.
and everyone should copy that entire course and put that put that into Blackboard. But that's,
Well, you're going to, in that course, I think there's only parts that whatever you want to use is what you would copy for your own use, okay? And then you want to create your own personal file. That way, if you're teaching several sections of the same course, you can just import into each one of those sections, okay? And you just have more control of what you're doing. Okay, so now that we have our new course and everything is the way you want it for the information in here, then the next thing to do is, you know, you've got your announcements is one area. This is in the master course, how the announcement looks. Now, when you import the information, if you want to change any of the dates and things like that, then you can always use the down arrow to edit, okay, any information on there. I would also suggest at the beginning of the semester, it's a good gesture to put in a welcome message to your students. That way you're kind of opening, you're breaking the ice between you and your students, you know, and welcoming them to the class, and it just kind of sets the tone for a community of learning. Okay. So the faculty page, you know, to create your contact information here, you would just go to create contact and then put in your name and, you know, email address, and it has an area for your office information and number. And some instructors like to put an image of themselves, a picture. So it also allows you to do that. And then if you have a personal website that you want to share with your students, you have access to that too, of putting that information in, okay? I didn't put any information in, so, and I don't really need to. Okay. Okay, so now, under the syllabus, this is where you're going to put your syllabus. This one is the master course that shows here. If there's something else that you're putting in, you would put in build content and then put in, you can go to item to attach a file, or you can set up your own syllabus that would show on the page, like this one, okay? So that's your choice. Under the course documents, this is where the meat of your course will be housed, with all of your files that you want to use. And as you can see here, there's a lot of things for the grammar and literature. I guess this is a book they're reading with information, but all of these things are here. If there's ever anything like that you import in your course that you don't need, you can always, or want to change something about, you can always use these down arrows and then edit. Just click on edit, and then that will take you to that particular area where you can adjust, you know, the title. Also, you can type in any information that you want to add with this stuff. Also, if there's any dates and things that you want to change in here, or if you want certain areas to show at a particular time, then you would use the displays after a certain date and time until a certain date and time. Okay, so then it gives the Blackboard the window that this is available for your students to see and work in for that block of time. Now, one thing to keep in mind with the time is that there's a midnight and there's also an end of day, which is 11:59. So now, if you want something to show on, like today is 8/22, if it was to show, or maybe to student is to submit their work by 8/22 at 12 a.m., which you're thinking that's going to be the end of the day. But the way that Blackboard has set it up, that was actually midnight this morning. So then your students won't have access to it to submit. So you want to make sure that you use end of day if you're including today or, you know, a certain time. Okay. And then I'm just going to cancel on that. Okay, so now you can also, under assign, oh, there's the discussion board, and I don't think I put anything in here. But if you're planning on using the discussion board with your students, make sure that you're creating a forum where you're having a topic that students are going to discuss. Like maybe your topic is on diseases, okay? Then once you create the topic that says diseases, did I spell it right? I think so. And submit. Then that's going to show here, but what happens is students can't respond to this. So you need to create a thread so that your students can respond. So my thread may have several topics that have to do with diseases. Like one, let me say HIV, I'm not sure. Okay, and have your students talk about that. So you would put in the message that you want to discuss with them. So just make sure that it's kind of, the discussion is kind of a two-step thing, and people kind of miss that. Okay, under assignments, there are several assignments that are in the master course that are listed here. Now, you have one of two ways, or you have two ways of creating your assignments. The best way, and it saves less problems and work on your end, is to create an assignment link that your students will have an assignment that you've written, or that you've attached as a document, like one of these here. But it also gives your students the chance to submit their work into this particular link. So what I've done here is created an assignment link that's called Assignment 1, and I tell students, okay, submit your work here. Once they submit their work here, and they would just attach it as a file. Okay, once they attach their file, the advantage of this is that you will not have to have the students send it to you by email, or to hand it to you, and you have a stack of papers that you got to keep up with. It's all enclosed in Blackboard, so then you can just retrieve their document, read it, grade it, comment on it, assign it a grade, and then all of that is generated in the grade book automatically, so that you don't have to open up an email to get their whatever they've turned into you, or keep up with a stack of papers to read, and grade, and then have to grade it, and then transfer the grade to a grade book, or to your grade book that you use that's not in Blackboard. It saves you all these steps. So once you have done the grade, then it automatically goes to Blackboard. And let me see, I will show you that. So when the student submits their work, what you're going to do is go to Grade Center, and then go to Needs Grading. Once you go to Needs Grading, you will see the students that have submitted work. So I have an example of one student that submitted assignment 1, and it shows the student's name, it shows the date and time that they submitted their work. And if I click on their name, then it will show me that there's the assignment that's attached. If they have sent a message with that assignment, you would also see that whatever comments they have, like here, attached assignment. So all you're going to do is click on the file name, open it, and I think I only have one sentence here, so bear with me. But anyway, you would read whatever they have. You can comment on it, track it within the document, and then once you have finished, you would just submit that information, okay? You can put a grade in there. I think I already put one in here. And then whatever feedback comments you want to say, great job. Okay, and then send that information. You can also, if you have additional documents that you want to include and for that student, you can browse your computer and, add information too. So once that's done and you hit submit, the grade is automatically sent to the student's grade book, their grade report, and also to the grade center. So it saves you all those steps of, having to keep up with doing one thing and then changing to something else and then going to the grade book and then, all those things that you need to do. Yes.
Yeah, I missed the step where you assess the grade. How do you do that?
Okay. Go into the grade center.
Yeah, but I mean, like for that particular paper, if I wanted to give a mark, 'cause I think they have like possible points, like 100
Oops.
possible points.
Okay, yeah, they had 100 possible points, but now I can't go back to it because
That's all of them, just by writing 2 words.
yeah. Yeah, it's just a sample of me putting something in, yeah. Yes. Uh-huh.
Oh, okay, it'll tell you how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It does make grading and returning papers a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm wondering, is there a way that I can, what I do is, once I pull the paper up, open it, then I have to save it.
Yeah, you can.
Is that grade the paper? Because then I want to send the paper back
Mm-hmm.
as a graded document.
Okay.
Is that the only way I can do that, is save that paper? on my
To
computer?
send it back?
To send it back as a graded paper?
No, you can send it back within Blackboard. Now, are you tracking the, marking up the paper and everything? Yeah, you can mark it up in here. You would have to, in the document, there's an area where it says tracking or something like that, and adding comments. So then you can do all that in the paper and then send it with the grade.
How do I send it? I mean, I don't know how to do that.
Oh, shoot, I don't.
How to send it back.
Ew. Okay,
Send it back
I
to the
don't
student
have,
graded.
Right.
Without having to save it
Yeah,
on
I
my
always save
computer
it.
and then,
That's my question too,
and then send
right.
it.
and how do you send it back? By email
No,
or
I
how would you
back
send
here.
it?
I-
Oh.
When I pull that paper up, it's pulled up in Word.
Right,
I grade that paper and I mark it and all of that.
right.
Then the only thing I know that I can do is then save that graded paper
Mm-hmm.
and then send it back through here. Just click the browse, give it the grade,
Yeah.
and then browse and then upload it. Is that the
Okay.
only way I can do it?
You should be able to, if
Without
I'm
saving
not
it to your
mistaken,
machine?
you should be able to, after all the corrections and everything.
I mean, I can send it back after the corrections,
Uh-huh.
but I was just trying to see if I could even
Save
do
the
that one
step.
step.
Yeah.
Save that document.
I'll have to check on that for you to make sure, because it should save with your, with all the stuff that you're doing in that step, and be in the comments with the student, their grade report, it should have that. I'm not sure about that. I'll check on that for you.
Yeah,
Okay.
most of us save it on our own machine. and
On
then
your own
send it
machine, you shouldn't have to, but
because the other ones
It's-
will change.
okay, it should be in that same step. Okay. But I'll check to make sure for you on that. Okay, now for the grade center, also, if you want to see the students, all their grades and actually work in the grade center, you want to go to the full grade center. Okay, and then you'll see the students' names. Now, if you use the assignment link, the column for that column name automatically, once you set up that link, is automatically set in the grade book. Okay, and you don't have to put a grade in there. As you can see, we graded it so it automatically put in the, the grade amount, the score. But if you don't set up an assignment link, then what you're going to need to do is create your columns in the grade book yourself. Okay, so that's where the extra work comes in. But some things you may want to do that way. I mean, if you have participation grades or whatever, at the end maybe you decide that you're going to have a certain grade that you didn't include, then this is where you would have to create your column. So you would go to create a column, and then you're going to put in your column name. And I'll just say sample. Okay. Now, you'll notice that there's another, it's called Grade Center Display Name. You can have a display name that shows up in the grade book, but the actual column name could be something else. Sometimes it's a longer name than what the column, the width of the column is, and you may want to make sure that you have your columns and your names that you can identify when you're grading. So in this case, you might want to change it, but most of the time, most professors don't. If you want to put in a description for your own purposes, you can. You have a display, primary display, which is usually the score, but you can always, you have these other options of to use. Some instructors will use a secondary grade along with their primary, which if their primary is a score, they may want to use a secondary as the actual letter grade. Okay, so you have that choice. And then put in the possible number of points that that column could have. Okay. And then you want to include the column in the grade center calculations if this is one that's going to be part of your total for the semester. Okay, and then show the column to the students. I mean, there may be times when you don't want to show the column to the students, or maybe later. So then you have that choice too. And then you can show statistics if you want on that particular column. Then once that's done, then you would click submit. The columns, once you have added a column, it always shows at the end of the of your grade book. But you can always move these around by going to Manage and then going to Column Organization. And in there you can, and I'm not sure if you can see all this, but you'll see the columns are listed here. And you can just click and drag it up to other area if you want. You can hide some of the columns if you don't want your students to see them. Maybe until later, and by just checking it and then going to hide, show hide, and hide it. But just remember, if you hide a column and it's a calculated column, that column is, the calculation is still going to show in your total amount. So if that's the case, you want to make sure that in your grade book, in that particular column, that you don't use it as a calculated column. Okay, so this is, let me see, what else are we doing? Oh, with totals, there's nothing really that you need to do with the total column. It automatically generates as a, as a running total. If it's not generated as a running total, but usually it's in default in Blackboard. That's the way we have set it up. But you can always adjust the column by going to the Edit Column Information, and then going to the section that says include the column in the Grade Center Calculations, and you want to include all the grades in all the grade columns in this total amount, or you can change it to only selected columns. If you choose selected columns, then you can choose the columns that you want to be calculated or not. So I'm saying this because in the hidden, if you hide a column, then this is something you may want to do if you don't want that column to be calculated. You know, is selected and say, no, this is not going to be part of the calculations. And then you can choose if you want this to be a running total that shows. So every time there's a grade inputted, then the total is going to reflect that. One good thing about having a running total is that your students will see throughout the semester just where they stand as far as their grade. It gives them more of a feedback. So to me, if the course is worth 500 points and it's you're 3/4 through the semester and the student only has 200 points, it's like, whoa, I need to really step it up if I want an A in this class. So a running total can be an incentive for your students.
I have a question about assignment 1. When you create assignment 1, so the column will be automatically in the grade book.
Exactly, yes. So any columns that you, any assignments that you create as a link will automatically get generated in the grade book. Any tests that you create will automatically get generated in the grade book too. So, you know, keep that in mind. That way you don't have, it saves you the trouble of having to create all this stuff in the grade book. Really, it's all set up for you. Now, you can also do a weighted total. And I'm going to the weighted total and I'm doing edit column information. And in there, I want my totals to be in, my weights to be in percentages. Okay, now all the columns that have been set up in the grade book will be listed here. So all you have to do is select the ones that you want to put weights on, use the arrow to move it over, and then you can input you know, the amount of weighting that you want on that particular column. Now, the main thing to keep in mind is that when you're assigning weights, it has to add up to 100%, you know, all the total weighted columns. Now, what I would do is wait until near the end of the semester when you assign all your weights, or make sure that you have all the columns that you're going to use for the semester in your grade book. Because if not, and you try to come back and add particular columns later, it puts the weighting off, you know. So even if you readjust the weighting scale for each column, for some reason it still doesn't work out correctly. So the best thing to do in that case is just delete the weighted column and create another weighted column. To create a weighted column, you want to go to create calculated columns and then just go to where it says weighted column. And then you would go through the same procedure as far as putting in your name, the column name, and then assigning the weights.
So that means this weight can be over 100%.
No, it's still only 100%, but it's going to be correctly calculated from the other weighted column that we kind of adjusted, okay? Now, also you can download your grade book, like a summary. You know, some people like to have it in an Excel spreadsheet or something. You can do that. That way you have access to all of your grades outside of Blackboard. What you would do is go to the area that says Work Offline, the tab, and then go to Download. Once you're in there, and it's really hard to see, but you can choose to download the full Grade Center, or if there are specific columns that you want to download, you can, also including the weighted total if you want to do that. And then everything else is pretty much defaulted the way it needs to be. So you're going to download the location to your computer. When you submit, just click on the download button. And then you can either save it. What it's going to do is generate an Excel spreadsheet for you. You can save it. I'm going to open it. And this message always comes up. Just click on yes. And then you will see, you can't really see it too good, but at the top it shows the column names. And then you'll see all the students that are in your class and the grades that they got. This is very valuable because I know last semester, spring semester, there was a problem with one student that complained and claimed that they had done all this work in Blackboard and everything. They had all these tests and everything done. And this particular instructor had several tests and several activities that students were doing. And so the student went to the department chair and complained. So the department chair was like, well, is there any record of what this student has done? So what we were able to do was to download the instructor's grade summary. And then it showed that the student had only done 2 things in the class for the whole semester. And those were just tests that he had failed, unfortunately. The other students had several weeks of work. So, you know, right there it was documented and it was nothing he could say. It was like, this is it. So anyway, this is, you know, a valuable tool to use, and you can always save it to your computer or some external device.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
Once, if I download to my Excel programming,
Mm-hmm.
can I just upgrade in my computer, then re-import back to the Blackboard?
Yes, you can import back to Blackboard. So you would go into the Full Grade Center again and go to Work Offline and then go to Upload. Okay, and then you're going to browse for that file that you saved, you know, that Excel file, and then it would put it back into Blackboard. So it's a very simple thing to do. Now, let's see. Another thing that you probably want to do when I'm running out of time, our test. Okay, now when you exported information, it also imported the test in here. If you go into Course Tools and go into, I'm going to show them at the bottom. And there are several ways to get your test in the course. Test surveys and pools. There are some tests that have been, that are in this master course, and they're under test. And you'll see a list of the tests are here. If you want to use some of them, or maybe you only want to use a portion of the test, some of the questions in the test, there are also a pool of these questions. So you could actually generate create your own test and then pull out the questions that you want to use in the pool of questions. I'm sorry?
Where did you go?
Oh, I went under Course Tools and then under Test Surveys and Pools, right here. And then I went to Test. Oops. Okay, and then they're listed here. But now remember, these are from the master course. So I can edit to open it. And, you know, I would see how many questions are in each one. Right here, this one has 20 questions. But maybe you only want to use parts of the test. You only want to pull out certain questions, and you don't want the whole test. I mean, you could use the whole test if that's the case, where it says quizzes, exams. and you want to put an exam in here from that pool, you could go to test, and then all of those exams are shown here with the names, you know. And so you could just select one and then submit, and that particular test would be in quizzes exams. Once you submit, you can put in your options, like, do you want them to have more than one attempt at taking the test? You make the test available to your students. The dates that the test is going to be available, you can put that in. And then if you want the test to be, the calculations to be in the grade book, that's important. And also, how do you want the test results to be generated? By a score, or do you want the students to have their submitted answers shown? Which I don't really suggest, because they like to share stuff. So you might want to only give them the score. Now, what we found in doing online tests is that you want to select each question done one at a time, not the whole test at once, because if there's several questions, then it's a greater chance of the test locking up on the students, okay? Because what's happening is everything stays open, like if you're doing online banking, and then after a certain period of time, it freezes on you because it's been paused too long. So you want to make sure that you select one answer at a time, okay? Okay, now this is one way of putting in your test, but maybe what if you want to create your test, or if you want to use only certain questions in the test? You can go to test and then create a test, and this will just be like you're creating a name for this particular test, but you're going to take the test questions from the pool. So, and put them into this test name. So I'm just going to submit with the test name, but now I have the choice to create my own questions by using multiple choice or whatever here. And I can also choose from the pool of questions that you saw with the test surveys and pools. I can go to reuse questions, go to find questions. Oh, I got a pop-up blocker here somewhere. Temporary allow. Okay, my pop-ups was on. Okay, I'm running out of time here. Okay, I'm going to create a test. I'll do this again. Okay, then I'm going to go to reuse questions and find the questions from the pool, because I'm only going to select a certain group. And what this will do is pull up all the tests for me that's in this master course, and then I can use this to select from. Okay, so now I'm going to pools. Right now it's going to generate everything for me, and I want to narrow my search down. So say, for instance, if I'm going to use the questions in Diagnostic Test C, I'm going to select from that pool of questions.
Question. This pool, this means all the instructor or all the professors' contribution, the questions to this pool? Or
I don't know,
It doesn't matter
Arbelina.
who contributes it. It's just all the questions that you have.
It means only I put questions in my pool, or that means this pool is a university pool?
No, it is your pool,
Okay.
but it can be borrowed, it can be copied from, from somebody else's.
So if that person
it's
is
yours.
open to the university, then
No,
that's.
it is not open to the university. It is your pool and your blackboard.
Yes, but
So-
if, how can I, copy some questions from you? What is the procedure?
You go to the master course,
Uh-huh.
and there will be pools and questions, and you will just copy from it.
Okay, so your master course, that means is available for all the professors on KSU.
Right. Who teach in that section, you have to be put in. So you have to tell one of the ladies, Ms. Martin or Ms. Scruggs or me, and we will add you to this course. And then you will be a course builder or an assistant instructor, and then you can treat that course as though it were yours, but be very kind, because we wanted to stay as pristine as possible for the rest of the people, but you can copy sections into your course, or you can actually download the whole thing up into your computer and then download it as you wish.
Okay, but right now, I'm thinking, I'm teaching math, but I want to borrow 2 questions from your English course. Is that possible?
Only if you get added to the master English course.
Okay.
Okay. Mhm.
One of the problems that I found with this is that when I created a test,
Mhm.
and I went to the pool and used and selected certain, if I wanted to take that specific test and copy it to another course,
Mm.
I can't pull up those questions that I selected from the pool. It'll copy the test, it'll say that it's copied, but it won't open those questions.
Okay, did you only copy the test under where it was located? Because that will happen if you put the test in like quizzes and exams area, and that's the only thing that you select.
No, I didn't do that.
Okay, did you
I
add?
saved that, I created the test,
Mhm.
and it's saved in the test bank.
Okay, as a
So
pool.
I
or-
go to the test,
Mhm.
test and pools, and I go to test, and then I locate that particular test, and I export it, and then import it into the other course.
Okay,
It does not import the
it
pool
should.
questions.
It should, because I've done that, but I'll get together with you and
Yeah.
we'll work on it, because it does work. You
Yeah,
can do that.
I managed to do that too.
But
I'm
you
not
got to
sure-
make,
Yeah, I'm not sure how, but I have done that.
yeah, you've got to make sure that you select where you have saved the test. And also, the test surveys and pools section has to be checked when you do the copy or your exporting. Both of those have to be done, not just where you have the test. Because I've tried it that way, and yeah, it doesn't work. It's like, where's my test? You
Where-
got to
yeah,
make
where's the
sure,
question?
yeah, you have
Okay,
to
that's
make
it.
sure that both of those are selected
So
when you
select
do.
the test and
Select the tests, surveys, and pools. Let me see if I
You
can.
know that when you copy, yeah.
And this is, you're doing the export now. Remember, we're not thinking about copy
Okay,
anymore.
right.
We're doing export.
export.
Yeah, and so you're selecting both the quizzes and exams area and test surveys and pools. If you don't have test surveys and pools selected, then it won't copy. It doesn't show. Yeah, you have to have both of those. Okay, so now in the pool, I've selected, I want information from my diagnostic test C, and also, since I have created a test name, I want to make sure that I go down to test and get that name, so that I'm only searching specifically for the test that I named, which is test 1. Because what that does is links it directly to those specific questions that you want. Let me see if I can find it in here. Here we go. Test 1. Okay, so then that narrows down my search for questions in only the diagnostic C that I chose. I think it is. Yeah, there's a lot of tests in here. And see, as you can see, it narrows it down instead of having questions from all of the tests. So then all I have to do is go in and select the ones that I want to go into my test that I created. Okay? As you're selecting questions, it's going to link to the test name that you've already created, which we created as test 1. As you're selecting questions also, you'll notice that under the selected questions area, it calculates how many questions I've selected. So that, you know, if you said I only want 15 questions for this test, then you know once you have 15, then you got the right amount, and then I can click on submit, and then those questions will link directly to my test 1, which I created. So, and as you can see, I've got the 4 here, and you know, whatever else you want to do with it. You can change the points by selecting, you know, either the questions individually, or you can go to all questions to change at once and then put in, I'm going to put in 5 points and then update. Oh no, oh, that word manual. Okay, so you have that choice of you know, doing that. So then once I have imported some things from the pool, I still have the chance to create other questions on my own if I want to. Okay. So is that all are those all the questions? Oh, one thing that is important. Okay, now we have created our tests. We put in all of our instructional materials and everything for our fantastic course that we have. So now we're ready for our students to work in it. And what we're going to do is make sure that we have made our course available to students. Okay, so now we're going to look under the control panel, go to customization, which is in a weird place and it makes no sense. I mean, it's not logical, but we're going to properties. And in properties, there is something called set availability at number 3. You want to make sure that this is set on yes for your students. That's the only thing you need to do in this particular area. Some professors in the past have gone to the part that says set course duration, and they've changed it to the time that the semester ends. And what happens is the semester ending does not always match up with the right date or time. So then students that have wanted to go into course maybe later or been assigned something at the last minute, they have no access to the course. So just make sure that it's on continuous. And then all you would do is click on submit. And then you're done. You're ready to work magic with your students in your course. Okay?
What do you recommend? When do I close? After how you know, what is the window after I finish this course? Then after how many days should I, you know, make close?
Unavailable.
Yes.
What we have started doing in Blackboard is we will automatically make the course unavailable for you after, I think it's after a week or 2 after the semester ends. So you don't have to worry about making it unavailable. Just make sure that you make it available, you know, once you have finished working in it.
What about incompletes? Is it a good idea to keep the course available if there are incompletes? And
That's a good question. Well, the course is going to be defaulted to unavailable anyway. So for incompletes, just request from us to make it available and you know, or you can make it available as instructor.
And how
Yeah.
about the old-fashioned copy? If there's like a syllabus and one thing, and you just want to copy that one syllabus, can't you just use that copy feature?
You can, but like I said, I
You'd
really
rather
would
not?
like to stay
Yeah.
away from that.
Right.
But you can. Under, let me see, let me go there.
Well, if you want us to
It's
show it,
under
don't show us how to do it.
packages. Oh, yeah.
Import it, or we want to copy something from a different?
She's suggesting exporting, importing.
Okay.
Yeah, that way you have your own copy, because see what happens, Blackboard, after a couple of years, you don't have access to that course anymore. And then after 3 years, all the information in that course is wiped out. So what has happened in the past, some professors, they'll just keep copying every semester. Oh, I'm copying. Oh, let's see, from 2007, I wanted something out of there. And it's not there anymore. So the best thing is for you to have your own stuff and not rely on Blackboard, because it's at your disposal whenever you want it. You know, because I mean, and not only that, but it may be a point where something crashes and then you're stuck because you got to wait for Blackboard to redo everything, and then finally after 2 or 3 weeks, you got your stuff. I mean, they're usually more efficient and faster than that, but you just never know. So, yes.
The only thing I found that I could not copy is announcements.
Okay, you should be able to copy
That's
the
what I was thinking.
announcements.
I remember Mrs. Jimmy's made like this really wonderful announcement with the
Uh-huh.
book and everything on there.
No,
And I went to try to copy that and I couldn't
You
copy
also
it.
can't copy contacts. But I believe you can upload it.
Can
and
you
download
go
Yes,
to
you
master
can.
course then? Just go to master course and copy that?
No.
Okay.
No, announcements and contacts, I believe you can upload it, download it.
Yes,
but
you
you cannot
can.
copy.
Yeah, see, if you use the export command, which is actually a copy, it is copy to yourself,
Make a
then
copy for yourself.
yeah, that's
And that's the best way to do
basically what it is. You want to go to packages and utilities and then just go to export. If in export, and I'll just go to the export tab, you will see announcements. So, you know, you have all of these contents that you're able to copy, and it's better.
So, so if you're teaching, say, 3 sections of 1301, then when you go to create that course for yourself, is there a way to do it so that you don't have to do it 3 times?
No, you have to. You would have to import.
You
3
import
times.
what you want from the master course out, and then you just put it in each of them. Or
Yeah.
you fix one of your courses perfectly,
Uh-huh.
and then you
You
export it to yourself and then just put it in.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
thing that is different, of course, is the CRN number. But Blackboard has the students in the right place, but make sure that, you know, the CRN number and place and date
Yeah, yeah,
of the
yeah.
course, you know.
Yeah. So, but you still have your own. You have your file. It's just that you're just putting it in each course. You know. Whereas before you got a copy, and then you still got to put it in each course. But
Thank you
anyway,
very much.
you're welcome. So, if you have any questions, just let me know.
June is